Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Elevate. My name is Jessica.
My name is Darwin.
Welcome to episode 81.
Let's get it.
I want us to share two videos specifically, or we're probably not gonna put the entire video because they're a little lengthy, but we're gonna, share certain parts of the video that I think are pretty important and we should talk about.
Having to teach and work with you guys as children has been the most traumatic experience of my life. I teach 5-year-olds ballet, 5-year-old girls ballet. I have a class of 10 students. They don't respect any authority. You ask them, can you stand in your designated spot? They're telling you no and shut up. They're throwing things at each other. They're throwing things at other people, other classmates. You say, can everybody sit in their spot? I don't want to. I'm not doing that. You don't get to tell me what to do. You're not my mom. You confront the parent. The parent tries to argue with you and fuss at you because you tried to reprimand and redirect their kid. I told a young little girl, please sit in your spot. You're not my mom. You don't tell me what to do. Okay. When her mom came to pick her up, I said, hey, your daughter's having a hard time following instructions. And 7 times today, I've had to redirect her to just sit in her spot. Well, clearly she didn't want to sit, and mind you, this is a mom. Clearly she didn't want to fucking sit right there. So, I mean, if she's telling you she don't want to do something, why keep asking her to do it? You know she's not going to do it. What world do we live in? Like, what in you guys' brain as a parent says, my kid not following any directions is a great thing. It's not that serious, and y'all don't have a right to tell her what to do. It's sad. It's sad. It's really, really sad. And another thing that's heart-wrenching is horrifying. It is horrifying. Your 5-year-old daughters are asking to listen to Pound Town and Ski Yee. Your 5-year-old daughters are asking, can we hear Pound Town? I'm playing them Princess Tiana ballet music. And they are asking me, can we hear Pound?
This ballet teacher, right, who is working with these little kids,
5-year-olds,
because they're little,
yeah,
is stressed the hell up because her little kids, which is insane to me.
Because we have a 5-year-old.
That's insane to me. They're not following instructions. And mind you, I know that, when your kid is 5, there's work to be done. Some kids will test your patience, and that's totally okay and normal. But when you are a teacher, right, any type of teacher, and you have a classroom setting of more than 5 children, right, you need rules, right? You need discipline in the classroom. Your child can't just be running around and doing as they please because you're one person with all these little kids that you need to instruct.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's complaining about not having the parental support is mind-blowing to me.
Not even just the parental support, just like what she's seeing is not even just like they're not listening.
They're not listening. They're being disrespectful. And then when she tries to get the parent on board to, let's fix this. And she seems, I know that there could be exceptions to this rule, and there might be teachers who can be, who shouldn't be teachers, right? But by the tone of this young lady and the way she's presenting herself in this video, she seems like a very sweet young lady.
Yeah.
And we should, like, as parents, again, I agree with her because I know I'm not a teacher and I'm not in that setting. But, you don't have to be in that setting to sometimes see and observe how us, the parents, we are failing our kids sometimes. Yeah. Is this happening way too much where the kids are way too much time on their own and they're not getting any discipline in the home with even like little things, being, clean or your neatness, your room. Like there's just little things that you can do in your home even to make your child understand that you're a kid, I'm the adult, and you need to respect me. And there's a lot of, different arguments about like gentle parenting and all this stuff. And listen, I don't believe in like beating up your kid for everything. And, sometimes a little in the hand won't hurt, I didn't grow up in a household where I was beaten up, but, like my parents were definitely not soft on me, like at all.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be physical to be hard on a kid.
Exactly. For a child to understand that they need to respect authority.
Like, I'm not physical, but I am hard on my kids. Like, they know
and
I am the authority.
All you have to do is literally speak to them in a tone where they understand is business. Like, you are crossing the line right now. And for the most part, we haven't had an issue. Like, our kids are still, 10-year-old, 5-year-old. They've tested, our boundaries. Our kids are not perfect. We are not perfect parents. We're not trying to say that we have it all down packed and that we never have issues with our kids. They will test your boundaries. Like, they will do it.
Yeah, but testing and versus like what you're seeing, and I've seen it before, like kids are getting wild. Even the way they speak and the words they use is because the parents either are using it with them in the house or
the parents just allow it.
Yeah, or they just use it with anybody. So the kid's like, oh yeah, I could say this.
It's
like
normal.
It's a normal.
Right. And words have meaning. We can't continue to ignore the fact that you need to speak to people with respect, and your children need to understand that. We need to stop this thing of, like making kids feel like you can talk to whoever you want in whatever tone you want. Like, that is not that's where respect starts. You can't allow your child to speak to older people as if they were the adults, and they have no respect for authority or adults. And again, maybe teach your children, maybe teach them that there are adults that may not be good, right? Because I have hard conversations with my kids, according to their level, right? Because I only have a 10 and a 5-year-old. So I can only have conversations that are on their level. I'm not going to start explaining things explicitly or having, these ridiculous conversations that are out of their age range. But, they do know that if an adult, crosses your boundary or makes you feel unsafe, touches you inappropriately, like, they know all these things. Like, you're not supposed to just do what they say because they're an adult. Yeah. They're clear of that. I've tried to explain that to them in many ways. But they also know that if they're in the presence of an adult, and if I feel safe enough as their parent to leave them with this adult, which is not many people. My kids just go to school and they're in the classroom with their teacher and they interact with anybody that's in the school building, or they're in my mother's house. My kids, I don't leave them with strangers at all. I don't leave them with nobody.
It's very rare.
It has to be a big emergency for me to have to do that, and I haven't had to go through that, thank God. But I don't just leave my kids with anybody. So if I trust myself leaving my kids with my mother, and even them, they know that they can come to me and tell me if something is wrong. They know that they are free to come and tell me. It doesn't matter who the person is. They should feel free to come and tell me when something is wrong, right? And we will address it. But they understand that they need to respect the elders. They need to respect my mother. They need to respect my father. They need to respect their auntie. They have to. It's not if you want to respect them, no. These are people you cannot disrespect. Actually, I teach them that they cannot disrespect anybody, even people on their own level. Yeah, is not acceptable. For me, you have to be kind to everyone. If somebody's being unkind to you, you let me know. You don't have to deal with them. But for you to just go around life with this entitlement, because this is what's happening. These kids are growing up and they're having this mentality of entitlement. They have this mentality of I can do, say, and do whatever I want, wherever I want. And that's not how the world works. That is not good for anyone.
It's going to be worse because once they start growing up and they get a reality check.
And you know what I feel is happening? You know, unfortunately, we want to like close gaps between different things, you know, speaking financially, speaking, you know, on, you know, social levels. We want to bridge the gaps, right? But what's going to happen is that the parents who really care are going to do everything in their power to not have their kids around these other kids who are being disrespectful and whose parents don't care about them and just throw them out in the world. And they're going to be so lost.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants kids or even adults who have that much entitlement in them around them. It doesn't help in any way. Another thing is she mentioned like is a ballet class, and you know, and I was going through the comment section, and a lot of parents were saying like, have a conversation, like give these parents warnings and tell them that if the kid does not correct their behavior or they don't know how to follow instructions in the classroom or they're disrespectful, tell them that they are going to be kicked out of the class. But she is an after school program, which basically helps the parent have more time at work, right? Until they have to pick up the kid from school. So she basically is not a private class. Yeah. So she can't kick them out. But again, that doesn't solve the issue, the adulting, parenting issue.
Yeah, I don't think just talking to the kid will solve the issue, because that's not even something that is just like, hey, don't do this. Like that's already ingrained in their life.
Is that if the kid is acting that way, is not even a kid problem, it's a parent
That's
problem.
what I'm saying. That it's not just like have a conversation with your kid. Like,
right.
They probably have a conversation with the kid every night, and the kid is just like whatever. And if the parent is already, if the kid is already in after school, that means that the parent comes out of work late, most likely. They probably get home and it's just like the bedtime and all that stuff, and they just.
Which is, you know, like I think about so many scenarios, right? Because I understand that now our generation is working a lot. You know, things are hard, things are expensive. I know everybody doesn't get the privilege of working, let's say, an 8 to 4. Some people have to work overtime to make ends meet. And it's hard, you know, and some of these after school programs are literally just daycare for these parents. But can we have some empathy as parents? I understand you're overwhelmed. I understand that you have bills to pay, that, you know, you can't just be, you know, I guess aware of everything your child is doing. But can we at least give these teachers some support? Yeah. Can we at least make them feel like, you know what? I'm going to do what I have to do on my part so that your job can be easier. You know how many times throughout this elementary school process with Armani, I write a message to the teacher. I'm very grateful when I feel like my teacher, like my son comes home from school and he is, you know, happy to go to school the next day, and I don't hear complaints about, you know, his teacher or him not feeling comfortable in class. I feel very happy because that makes me as a parent feel at ease when I send my child to school. And
he'll tell us what teachers he don't like.
Or if they do something that they don't like, you know. But it has always been very minor things. And, you know, Armani's just like a little sensitive sometimes. And he doesn't like to be in settings where the kids, let's say, are being punished. You know, and sometimes these teachers have certain ways of going about the class. And if somebody does something wrong, the whole class is in trouble, whatever, which I think is wrong. But, you know, every classroom is dealt with differently. But, you know, every time that I know that my child is being well taken care of in the classroom, and I see that the teacher is very aware of how he's doing in class, and they try to, you know, keep me in the loop with everything, I always take out time to write or to send them a thank you, like, thank you for being an amazing teacher for my child. Because I know that job is not an easy job.
Definitely not. And
they're definitely underpaid. So a lot of teachers become teachers because they want to make a difference in kids' lives. You know, that is a job that they have impact on these kids' development
For life.
And so I'm appreciative, and I try to make sure that they understand that I appreciate them being a good teacher to my child. And the amount of times I get the response I get back, which has been more than once, is usually they're grateful with me. And it hasn't been one teacher that has responded this way. It hasn't been 2 teachers. It has been at least 4 teachers that when I write something like that, their response to me is, no, thank you for making my job easier, because Armani is such a great student and he's such a good kid to have in class. And a lot of them tell me, like, I wish every child in my class behaved and was so well mannered. And I'm not saying this to, you know, brag about my child, but, you know, that makes me very proud as a parent too. The fact that I am raising a young boy who in a classroom setting respects authority, is well behaved, you know, respects his classmates. He's a team player. He's a leader, you know, in his classroom. I get all these words from the teachers every year, and that makes me super proud.
It's not just because we speak to him, though. It's because that's what we show him.
It's because it's the rule all across the board, and he knows that's how it is.
What I'm saying is, like, it's not like we carry ourselves a different way. So he sees that and then he's like, oh, when I go to school, I got to play the role of being a good kid. It's
True.
Because in the home or wherever we at, like, we play that role. So
we are those.
To them, it's like, okay, this is what I should do.
Right.
But
it's
that's the
normal
problem with some parents that want their kid to be perfect. But on the other hand, they're just like out and about and not respecting nobody. And with their friends, it's like, you know, just talking.
That's a good point. Our kids are always watching us. They know how you behave. They know how you speak. You know, again, we're not perfect parents. I definitely, you know, I don't curse that much. There might be like one curse word I say, like when I'm really frustrated. But even then, like, my child knows that they're not allowed to ever curse. Like, we just have rules and boundaries that are put in place in our home. One, because we want to make our lives easier as well. We don't want to be in a chaotic home with children who don't even know how to follow any type of instruction. How hard would that be for us as well? And for us to, you know, have kids and just let them, you know, do whatever they want in our homes, you know, like, we're going to pay for this at some point. Like, as a parent, you're going to pay for this at some point. You're not going to be young forever. You know, the point of having children is to have a family, you know, to raise good young men and women for a better society. And if we're, as parents, are not doing what we have to do, our jobs in our homes, we're headed for trouble.
Yeah.
Like, your job as a parent is so important, maybe more important than some of you guys may realize. And sometimes, you know, maybe at this point, because you're in the moment and you're thinking, you know, that's not a big deal. They're kids. They're going to do whatever they want. Yes, they're kids and they're going to test you out. But you as the parent are the one who's supposed to let them know, hey, no, that's not right. Let's do this the right way. It doesn't matter how many times you have to repeat the same thing. That is your job.
Yeah.
Your job is to repeat as many times as you have to repeat what's right for that child to do. That is what you have to do. It doesn't matter. You cannot get tired.
And also, like, when you have friends over, let's say people that have a lot of friends over or going out with friends, like, the way your friends talk to your kids is also plays a big role. Because there be people that treat them like they're boys. Like, nah, bro, they're not boys. Like, you could be cool, but you're not going to talk to him like
he's a grown person and you're talking to a kid. Another point that she pointed out was that the kids, the kind of music that they wanted to play in a ballet class was like, I don't know what that music is that she was talking about, Powtown, whatever it was. I didn't even look it up because I already know it's inappropriate by her tone of voice, and the comment section definitely told me like that was wild. And I didn't even look it up. I don't know what that is. Never even heard of it. But that matters. I've said this so many times, I think, in previous podcasts. You may think it doesn't matter, but it does matter. On a child whose mind is still developing, the type of music you listen to around your kids matters. You may think that they're not listening to the lyrics, and maybe they're not, but maybe they are. And so you need to be careful, because you're, as a society, these parents who are not aware of how they're bringing up their kids, you're creating monsters for the society. You're creating kids who are self-centered and don't care about anybody. That's a dangerous thing. So there was this other video of another, this one was a guy, and we're going to play it briefly.
You, as a parent, did a terrible job at raising your kids, because what I go through at my job, it's not acceptable. It's illegal in every single state. I work with kids, from middle school, elementary, whatever, and here's the issue. They're very disrespectful. They don't listen to simple instructions, and they know a lot of things they should never know. Today, I was doing my job. I was sitting down, observing how the class is going, and I look at a student, and I can tell that they're confused. So I politely ask, "Hey, do you need help?" The girl looks back at me. She was like, "Do you need help? Can I help you?" I'm 23 years old. She's in the 7th grade. And God knows how she talks at home. Also, the side conversations that I hear while I'm just sitting there on my laptop doing my work, it's beyond, it's insane. I heard that she was like, when I get a boyfriend, if it's not like 50 Shades of Grey, I don't want it. This is insane.
As you guys can see, this guy, he is with 7th graders. So these are much older kids. Mm-hmm. And so the disrespect, like, for how much money in 7th grade, this is middle school, not even high school. So for how much money would me in the 7th grade, jamás, se me cae la cara. Like, first of all, in the 7th grade, I was so innocent still. Like, you had like little crushes, right? Like, oh, so-and-so likes you, you like him, right? You have a little crush. I do remember that in the 7th grade, but it was still very innocent. Yeah. And the fact that this young lady, 7th grader, spoke back to her professor, the teacher, like, "Can I help you?" with that type of attitude, I can't.
Do you feel, first of all, I feel like he's super young, 23 years old. Mm-hmm. Like, do you feel there should be an age gap requirement?
I don't think so. He's 20. He's the teacher. You should respect that person no matter how old and how young.
I know they should respect them. I mean, clearly. I'm like, I'm 23. Aren't like 7th graders? How old is a 7th grader?
12, 13.
Never mind.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I'm thinking like a 7th grader.
Listen, I was in high school.
No, I'm thinking like a 7th grader is like 17 years old. I'm like,
no. I was in high school and I had a teacher who was very young, Miss
Garcia.
Yeah, Evelyn, who I still, keep in contact through the socials and stuff sometimes. And she was like the youngest teacher I've ever had. She was a very young teacher, and she was teaching high school. She was so young, she would never disclose her age because people would always have that question because she looked young. Mm-hmm. And she was one of, by the way she carried herself, you could tell she was young too. But that doesn't give the students the right to disrespect that teacher. I would have never had that courage and that, that entitlement to feel like I can talk to my teacher in that way, no matter what grade, not even in college. And that's just sad. I feel like we need to do better. There was another video, like this was the second video I came across, and then another, the algorithm starts giving you the videos. And I didn't realize how much people were complaining about these things. And it just made me very sad. It just made me think like, wow, what is going on? Like, what is going on in the brains of these parents who feel like that is okay? Is it trauma? Is it that they maybe went through something as when they were younger that makes them feel like my child doesn't have to listen to anybody, to any authority? We need to really think about how harmful that mindset can be. Because if that child grows up with that mentality, guess what? You as a parent, when you get older, you also have no authority over that child. And when that child disrespects you and comes to you at your face and talks to you all types of way because they feel like they run the world, you're going to regret everything.
Yeah, because now that seventh grader was that 5-year-old that the other girl was talking about.
Exactly, because they keep growing with that mentality of, I don't need to respect anybody. I do as I please. And everything comes full circle. At this point, that child might be disrespecting the authority inside the school building or wherever you're dropping them off, daycare. But just remember, that child will always be your child. And at some point, you're also going to be dealing with their disrespect because that's what you taught them. You taught them that, everything is fair game, and that there are no rules. So we need to, as parents, we need to do better. We need to do better. And I also feel like parenting, and like guiding these kids through the right path is also a community effort, So let's not feel like parenting is just your job. Be grateful when you have a teacher, a counselor, someone in the school building who is concerned for your child's behavior. Yeah. Be grateful that they are pointing it out and that they want to help. I know that there are exceptions and that there are, adults who just should not be in a school building, who should not be in the education system, because you should have patience to be dealing with children. Right. You need to have patience and you need to have a heart. You need to have empathy. You need to be caring and loving, right? Because that's what kids need. But the reality is that most of the people who are in these buildings, they're with your kids for a very long time and they see how your kids are behaving. And if they come to you from a place of love, trying to fix the problem, trying to fix the fact that your child is not, doesn't know how to follow instructions or isn't respectful or is bullying, please listen to them and with an open heart and work with them so that your child can have a better future, so that their outcome in the future is better and they're not they're gonna get in trouble in the future if they don't, if these things aren't addressed the way that they should be.
They don't have the right guidance.
Right. So, let's work together. This is a team effort. Everybody in the community. I always tell, I make sure other people know, like, if you see my child doing something that they shouldn't be doing, like, let me know. I want to know. And then I'm going to ask him, like, what happened? What's the deal? But if you see my child doing something that it's inappropriate, I would be 1000% grateful that you brought it to my attention because it needs to be addressed.
Smart woman right there. I don't even got to talk.
But yeah, I think that this is a very important conversation. I thought that it was just a good topic to, just talk about. So
talk to them kids.
Yes, let's do better. We need to raise these kids to be good adults. We need to raise them to be strong. We need to stop accepting mediocrity from them. We need to stop just allowing them to do the bare minimum.
Yeah, and it's not even just them. It's like you got to get better.
Yes,
like as a human, as a person, as a parent.
Yes,
because if you don't, it's just not gonna work.
It's not. It's definitely a team effort. So let us know your comments down below. Have you guys seen anything that really alarmed you, maybe at your child's school, or what are your thoughts on this topic? I really want to know how you guys feel about it. And that's it for today's podcast.
Until next time.
Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit the bell so you can be notified every time you post a video. If you're on any of the audio platforms, don't forget to leave us your reviews. It really helps us out. And until next time.
Peace.